Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Professor Eric Shiraev, and will continue to study psychology with you. Thank you, TutorDudes, for making this happen. And those of you who follow these lectures on YouTube, remember that we go from topic to topic. You can go back and forth and use these lectures in sequence, or you can choose a topic you like and use it for your studies. We also agree that this is a very brief type of lectures because there are reading materials, there are things online, and many other sources assigned to you either by me or by other professors. But these are the basics, and my choice is my choice how I cover these subjects. But I think this is the way to refresh your memory, to give you some guidance, and to help you understand this wonderful subject of human psychology. In my previous lecture, we studied childhood. It's a period of life which is remarkable, tremendous, unique, exciting to study, but using only 30-35 minutes to cover all the subject. Today we will move and study adolescence. It's a period of life which I describe, and I will mention most important highlights about this period. And as always, at the end, you can check the file with PowerPoint questions. It's only 5 questions, multiple choice, but will help you to somehow a little bit exercise and see how your memory works, how your understanding works. As always, I'll be sharing the screen most of the time, and we'll go slide by slide, discussing this beautiful period of human development, which we call adolescence. I will share the screen with you, and there we go. I will find this slide, and there we go. As always, I can now begin with the introductory slides. We studied adolescence within the field of developmental psychology. Developmental psychology is a subfield of general studies into psychology. Human development, lifespan. You remember I introduced this diagram earlier. These are stages of human developments ranging from development from infancy through childhood, which has 2 stages, early, middle, then adolescence, then adulthood, then middle adulthood, late adulthood, to which we'll turn in our future lectures. But this is the period which we study, adolescence. This is a very interesting period. I'll tell you that the term adolescence as a noun in the English language appeared not long ago. Let's say I'll give, maybe linguists would correct me, but in psychology, the term began to appear as a research category 130 years ago, 120 years ago. First books and papers began to appear in scientific literature. And in fact, our ancestors, wherever they lived, in Europe, in Africa, in Latin America, in Asia, in Oceania, in the 18th century and earlier, most of our ancestors didn't know what adolescence was. It wasn't a period of adolescence, by the way. Some people tell me, well, this is strange. How can it be just, how can you say adolescence didn't exist? It's just a period of human development, and well, we have feelings, we have acts, behavioral acts, we exist. And during adolescence, how can you say it didn't exist? It didn't. I can say it did. Why? The history of human evolution in human society is such that people struggled for their survival most of the time. Most of our ancestors, of course, with the exception of a few, but most of our ancestors struggled to survive, literally to survive. It was essential for us, for them, essential for them to be able to defend, to procreate, to build, to construct, to design as early as possible. So as soon as a girl was ready to give birth to a child, she will become a wife and continue to produce, excuse me for this term, produce, give birth to children. Many of them would die early, unfortunately, but well, to maintain the ability of a tribe, of a society, of a community to defend itself. As soon as a boy was able to carry a spear in his hands and lay bricks or stones to build walls, they would do it. So the period between childhood and adulthood, as we call adolescence, in fact, is an invention of a more developed society or more developed societies, developed communities. When the society could say, stop, we should allow the individuals to continue growing, developing psychologically, behaviorally, morally, develop further, but without giving them the rights and responsibilities of adulthood. See, a child may be not a child anymore. She is 14 and he is 14. They are capable of doing so many things. They can get married in theory and produce children, but no, society says, no, wait. We don't need you to give birth to a child that early. Wait, learn, study. And so then you become a, acting and a successful member of a human society later on. But when? And then legal and cultural and religious norms began to appear. The important part of human civilization. And most society would say, well, 16 will be fine. Oh, 18. And see, today in most countries in the world, 18 is what we call legal age. 18. So why is that? Why is not 17 and a half? It's a culture, it's a legal system, it's a religious considerations, a custom. See, the human custom and human law determines when certain period of life ends. We discussed childhood. I said, well, infancy, childhood is no real border, 2, 2.5, 3. And from legal standpoint, nobody cares about when psychology may discuss when infancy is over, when childhood begins, early, middle, and whatever. With adolescence, the end of adolescence, beginning of adulthood, it now becomes a legal category. A person takes on not only the rights but responsibilities of adult. But before that, so the society gives this sort of a break. So you go to school, you finish your school, you do whatever you want to do, but within the limits, and there are other people responsible for your well-being, your parents or legal guardians or community, but you don't have enough rights before age 18. It's interesting how politics, culture, custom interfere into psychology. And instead of discussing behavioral and psychological features, now we discuss legal features. So there are plenty of 16, 17-year-olds who are mature enough, responsible enough, knowledgeable enough to make good decisions, fine decisions, vote, and make great judgments about our life. And yet they don't have this right yet. Of course, I understand that 30, 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds who are extremely irresponsible, not knowledgeable at all, and make really, really bad decisions. Yes, but this is a subject for us to talk about maybe during our next lecture. Now, let's turn to adolescences. From 11, 12 to 19, 20-year-old, I would say 18 legal cutoff time, but so many of us, including yours truly, when I was turned 18, I continued to live with my parents. I continued to be dependent on them. I continued to somehow, to do most things that they would tell me to do, and sort of out of respect, also out of common sense. But from legal standpoint, I told you 18 is the end of adolescence, beginning of adulthood. The person has reached sexual maturity, so he or she can procreate from a biological standpoint. However, he or she has not yet taken the rights on rights and responsibilities of adult status. Huge period here, very interesting period, puberty. This is a physiological stage. It's not psychological. Puberty has psychological features, but puberty is a physiological stage, a stage of rapid, quick, fast physical and sexual maturation of a person. So it's the time of a first period in girls, and the time when the boy is able to have children. So beginning of manhood in boys. So in other words, the ability to procreate, it's the beginning of puberty. The changes are tremendous. Physical changes, tremendous. The body gets bigger. the voices change. The proportions of the head and shoulders and hips, all the compared to other parts of the body change. Physiologically, that's lots of hormones just and it kick in into the body, making it responsible for so many physical and psychological changes. There was a belief in psychology for many years that well, those changes have different impact on boys and girls, which was correct. Interesting. So just judge yourself. That what does it mean, boys and girls, and different meaning of the changes during adolescence, during puberty. In fact, what was that? What was it all about? But here comes culture, and culture makes impact on how we see ourselves, how we see our bodies, and how we see everybody else in this world. For boys, in most cultures, look at this, in contemporary as well, your body gets bigger, your voice changes, it gets deeper, right? You talk on the phone to 11-year-old, and then a year later, the 12-year-old, my goodness, the voice had changed. You talk like a man, yeah? So it gets deeper. Hair begins to grow. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. Most boys are very proud of something is growing enough. It means just you're getting bigger and yeah, more mature. So it's an important sign of becoming a man. My mother was extremely, I would say, surprised, even though she was a psychologist. She was supposed to be ready for those changes, but she was surprised to see, oh my goodness, there's well, something growing in your face. Sort of, she was anxious about this, and my father said, "Oh, he's becoming a man. Come on, it's a great sign." But my mother was not. Well, for her, it was a sign of me becoming a man, no longer a boy, just a man. So physically, boys grow, most of us, and of course there are issues with delayed development, physical developments, and impact us psychologically, of course. But most changes take place in our bodies during puberty. In terms of boys, most changes are seen as positive. For girls, because of societal pressure, it's not necessarily the case, because everything matters. Well, the hips, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the size, the proportion, the length, and everything else. It's not supposed to be this way, but this is how society judges us. Unfortunately, well, this is life. This is life. And apparently, and this is what anthropologists tell us, social psychologists tell us, cross-cultural psychologists tell us, that the pressure on girls is tougher across cultures, to look in a particular right, correct way, to be beautiful, to be attractive. Right? So this. Yeah, we can deny, reject, say it's wrong, but this is how society functions, at least functioned for so many years, so many centuries in the past. But what's interesting, that contemporary psychological research shows that despite this more intense pressure on girls during puberty, during adolescence, societal pressure to look right, the girls adjust as good, as great, as even better than boys do. Adjust to the pressures of culture, of society. So girls, on the average, not necessarily everyone, but we understand the rule of averages. On the average, girls, young women, tend to adjust better to those pressures compared to boys. Many reasons exist. I will not even start naming them, because I will not have enough time to do that. But this is reality. So I always say informally to my students, and tell you that I believe that on the average, women are capable, have more skills to adjust, negotiate, to find solutions to problems, to conflicts, to misunderstandings. And we're supposed to underline and show this and develop this understanding, because it has a tremendous impact on who we are and how we run our societies in the future. So many decisions were given to men in the past, but if girls and young women and women are better negotiators and problem solvers, you got my point. So let's turn to adolescence. Well, I use this slide to highlight the first point I want to discuss. I'll do it quickly. Sorry for this, but you can always return to the video and rewind it and see it again. Several things important about adolescence. I chose impulse control. So one of the biggest differences between an adolescent and a child, that adolescents begin to control their impulses. They understand the meaning of word you have to, I must, I should. Compared to kids who say, I want, give me, I want, I need. So adolescents understand the meaning of words, I should, I have to. And here comes very interesting phenomenon in psychology called impulse gratification or impulse gratification control. You can check this slide because the video is available. I will turn to one of the most, if not the most famous experiment in psychology, but one of the most famous experiments in psychology is the Marshmallow Experiment at Stanford, conducted, goodness, almost 60 years ago. And so you heard about this experiment when kids, very young kids, preschoolers, were offered a interesting choice. You sit in a room alone, you're given a marshmallow, you can eat right away, it's yummy, nice, sweet. But if you can wait for 15 minutes and the clock is right there, and all kids knew the meaning of time and how to read the clock, you wait 15 minutes and you get 2. You say it's not a big deal, but for 4-year-old, 5-year-old, it's a big deal. 2 marshmallows in 15 minutes, or 1 right now. And some kids waited, others ate marshmallow immediately. So what's the point? So this is what psychologists do in experiments, just to see how kids respond, and of course with the consent of their parents, and parents were there next room, they're observing it through a 2-way mirror. So this is a waste of time. No, it's interesting. Years later, psychologists, and by the way, this experiment was repeated in so many countries with almost identical results. Many years later, those kids who waited, on the average, would have better grades and higher SAT scores, would make more money, would have lower body mass index, so in better shape, report greater psychological well-being, happiness, and would have fewer behavioral problems such as drug abuse, so traffic tickets and others, than the kids who didn't wait. Wait a minute. So the kids who could wait, they would do on the average better socially, financially, psychologically than those who couldn't? Apparently so. Remember, on the average. Why? What is that? Is it the biology? In part it is. Psychologists study neuroscience, and neuroscientists tell us, yes, we are born with this propensity to wait. It could be biological. So it's not your fault, my fault, or not my achievement as a learner. No, it's I was born this way, for example, or somebody else born this way to be a person who is able to wait better. But is it really not really scientific? So we are destined to be impulsive or destined to be patient? Not at all. Even greater body of research in economic research, sociology, research in sociology and psychology shows that economic and educational factors also affect impulse control, even the impact is even greater. People who face poverty in economic uncertainty and people who are less educated tend to be more impulsive than educated and those who grow up facing certainty. Amazing. Makes sense, right? Think about it. Makes sense. Why? If I am a poor kid, I have no resources. My parents struggle, if I have parents. I face hunger. I face lack of everything in my family. And something is available to me, like a nice toy or an opportunity. Will I wait and say, oh, no, I'll wait longer, maybe get bigger shares? No, we grab it what we have. We get it right now because we need to survive today. If I have everything at my disposal, and if I'm happy with my life, and somebody offers me something today. For instance, well, this is get this nice car, but you can get a better car, completely electric, wonderful, in 2 years. So, well, yeah, I have, by the way, cars in my garage. I have two. And so I don't need a new car, but I can wait for 2 years because I have some. So that's why this research is great, and I support because it shows the importance of education, importance of socioeconomic factors. If we can guarantee, or it's very difficult to guarantee, but at least we can provide the conditions for people to be economically secure, socially secure, financially secure, we will affect their ability to control the impulses or control the immediate desire to gratify the impulses. So we'll build a better society. So it's not a joke, it's not a fantasy, it's based on very important type of research. So adolescence is a time when 12, 13, 14-year-olds begin to wait and sacrifice for the sake of the future. And this could be in part biological. Yeah, we're born this way. And also its biggest, again, bigger part and bigger role plays our conditions in which we grow up. It's a wonderful subject. I recommend you to read about Marshmallow Experiment. Easily check Google, and Wikipedia does good stuff on this, by the way. Adolescence is a time when we can make rational decisions. I'll do it quickly, of course, and I refer to the famous Lawrence Kolderk, Stages of Moral Development. Lawrence Kolderk, American psychologist, he had no idea that his research will be quoted in so many countries. It's one of the most quoted studies in psychology, even though it was conducted way back in the 20th century. Lawrence Kolderk did empirical studies, simply asking children, adults, how they make moral judgments about right and wrong things. I will introduce this to you. You can read it about Kolderk, but just let me explain and show it to you that its relevance to adolescence. Initially, children make moral judgments about right things, wrong things, based on their perception of punishment. If I do the right thing, I will not be punished. If I do the wrong thing, I'll be punished. Ask 3-year-old, why don't you eat a candy before lunch? And she would likely to say, because my mommy is upset when I eat candy. So my mommy is upset. So it's a negative sanction. Negative sanction. So I don't eat candy before lunch because mommy will get upset. So, by the way, adults do the same. Why don't you drive? Why are you driving 25 miles? There's nobody. Oh, the police are everywhere. So that's why I drive 25. Not because there are children around, not because it's safe, not because you have to do it, because the sign says 25. No, because police are everywhere and I have to be careful. Otherwise I get a ticket. So pre-conventional level. Conventional means average. Pre-conventional before average, before common. Well, stage 2, it's about reward. If I don't eat a candy, eat a cake before lunch, I'll be a good girl, I'll be a good boy, and therefore I'm fine. Second stage, there we go, conventional level. That's beginning of childhood, and that definitely adolescence belong as a period is a good example of a conventional level. Here we learn about the approval of significant others. And significant others, not only our parents, for kids, it's 100% true. It's most of us trust our parents, especially early in life. Most of us, most of the time, in most circumstances. Here we go. Significant others, our teachers who we like, our parents too, our friends, our significant others online, those who we admire, movie stars, performers, athletes playing soccer, playing softball, whatever they play. So our behavior is good if I think they approve me, not necessarily directly. If we make a phone call, yeah, approve your behavior. No. So we imagine. So what would my idol do in this circumstance, and under this circumstance, and we repeat the behavior. And then we learn about laws and about customs. Well, this is supposed to be done this way. This is how we do things, and this is what we're supposed to do this way. This refers to driving, this refers to marriage. And yeah, well, conventional level of judgments. Well, marriage is supposed to be between a man and a woman. And this has been for centuries, and this is law about this. Well, this is how we're supposed to have it. But, well, of course, our judgments change. Judgments change, and opinions change about so many things in life. And of course, we change our opinions about what is considered the right, what's considered the wrong. That's why humankind, we are, as human beings, we always evolve and move forward, and we change the conventional rules. But many people prefer to stay with those conventional rules. Conventional. Well, a good example here would be this one about how we judge. Imagine you own a coffee shop. You have 2 or 3 employees. You barely meet requirements. You pay taxes. You struggle. You work essentially 16 hours a day, no breaks, no weekends. You work to pay back a loan, but you have a shop. And then the person comes by the end of your shift, and you own this coffee shop, and grabs a cake, wonderful cake you bake yourself, and runs away with it, a thief. So, and you chase the thief, you caught the thief, and see the homeless person. Well, conventional level, I understand you're homeless, but this is my business. This is my life. This is my 16 hours a day effort. Nobody helped me this except a few people who I employ right here. And you steal, the product, my product, I baked myself. So definitely I report your case. I understand you're homeless, but well, it's not my fault, right? It's just you stole things from me. And so the conventional level, right there. The next one, stage 5 and 6, and Kolderk never said that this is the best and we all should be there. No, he didn't say that. He didn't write about that. He said that this is just next level. Here we judge our behavior as moral, or behavior of other people as moral and immoral, based on here stage 5 context, rights, responsibilities, and underlying circumstances. For example, it could be this way, post-conventional level. You caught this thief, and you realize the person is homeless. And you understand you work 16 hours a day. I repeat the story. You barely have any income because of situation. And yet you let the person go because you understand, well, it's a homeless person, and one cake doesn't make me a rich woman, a rich man. I'll let him go because he's in a worse condition than I am. So that's I think it's what he did. I don't judge. I think it's fine, and I'll let him go. Or same situation. You realize that the person who stole your cake, he stole right around the corner, sold this cake for a few dollars and got himself a drug. So wait a minute. So you steal things from me. I assume that you're hungry, but no, you do it just because you want to just have, get yourself high. No. I will report you, report drug dealer. See, the circumstances determine how we make judgments. And that comes not during childhood, it comes to us during adolescence. We begin to think and understand that what is right and what is wrong is based on many factors and laws and rules and customs, but also circumstances. And we place ourselves in those circumstances and make judgments about that. In stage 6, post-conventional level, it's about not referring to circumstances, basically referring to universal human values. And Kolderk believed that not many of us achieve this level of development. Quickly about emotional issues. We talked about moral judgments, talk about impulse control are behavioral, motivational, then moral judgments. Here we go, emotional. Great body of research exists today about how children and adolescents develop their emotions, and adults. And I decided to use a case of embarrassment, shame, and guilt here. To many students, it's just the same. I was embarrassed, I was ashamed, I felt guilty. It's the same thing. They're different psychological processes, different. Let me explain the meaning of this and why we study this and what kind of application does it have. So embarrassment, it's a separate kind of emotional response, which we learn early in life. It's intense discomfort, fear, sadness, anger, a combination of their all. Experience upon having a privately acceptable yet socially unacceptable act of condition witnessed by or revealed to others. The most the easiest example, the most simple one, the simplest example for me is nakedness. So in most cultures, especially today, we learn that we need to cover our body. That's we all adults, we understand this. Right? We need to cover our bodies in most circumstances, unless we are in the privacy of our home, if nobody's around. Right? So are we embarrassed to go to the bathroom, take a shower without the clothes? Not at all. Right? But it takes one person who accidentally wanders in and is a stranger. And thus we feel this embarrassment, right? It's interesting. Social conditions affect how we feel. So what's the big deal? Like taking a shower and somebody won't, oh, I'm sorry, and disappears. And what's a big, no, it's big deal for us. So it's not about only nakedness, it's about something we do on a daily basis, but privately. It's about personal hygiene. It's about flossing your teeth. It's about grooming. It's about mostly it's about our body, and embarrassment is that emotion which is about things that we're not supposed to reveal to others. And when embarrassment takes place, there's no escape, almost no escape. How can you repair this? How can you correct this? How can you forget this? It's right there. That's why embarrassment is very difficult as a category for psychology to treat. How about shame? And you may ask, why do we have to treat this? Because embarrassment can cause serious psychological problems in human beings. I will do it in a few minutes. I'll explain to you why embarrassment is difficult to control. Shame is a next level, a type of emotional construct. It's about intense discomfort, anger, frustration, sadness, discomfort experienced upon comparing own actions witnessed by others with certain moral standards. It's not about physical appearance, it's not about hygiene, it's about moral actions, such as being honest. A professor tells students, I'm sorry, I'm so busy, I have to pick up my mother from airport, so that's why I will finish my class early. And students say, okay, fine. Mother, airport, yes, that's fine. And then students spotted the professor in local restaurants, partying there and dancing on the dance floor. Forget about there's no mother, there's no airport. And well, that's what being caught in this action. Well, professors don't do this, but we understand. So we promise something and then we lied, and people caught us in a lie. So we appear in a way that we're not supposed to appear in front of others, and that's shame. Shame also is very destructive type of emotion because it has very little repair opportunities for us. How can I explain to my family that I was careless, even though I promised I'll be careful and I'll take care of say a project, and I completely just forgot about things and was careless and wasted money and deliberately just lied to them. Right? How can I do it? Maybe by doing something in the future, but still it's a very powerful emotion. But guilt is a third category of emotional construct which is associated with our social behavior. It's a discomfort experience upon realizing that our behavior, not witnessed by others, violates moral standards, expectations, or given promises. In other words, you do something, but like a lying, but you're not caught in lying. Nobody saw you, nobody witnessed, but yet you did something. You realize that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not who I am. It's not who I am. You go to the store, you got a bunch of things and lots of things, expensive stuff, and then you give your card and you realize after that, oh, they didn't charge me for this and this and this product. Oh my goodness, I saved $300. They forgot to scan it. And I'm out of the store. I'm on the parking lot already. They forgot it. $300. So what do? You say, oh, well, that's nice. Too bad for them. It's nice. And I get nice jeans, nice sneakers for myself. Yeah. Or you can go back and say, look, you forgot to scan it properly. I'm sorry. So I hope most of us will go back and to the store and say, look, this is what you've done, and I need to pay more because you forgot to scan this product. So guilt is a let's say higher moral category, and guilt is a complex emotion which psychologists try to cultivate in people. Don't get me wrong, it's not about religious guilt, not necessarily about this, not about some artificial sense of guilt. No, guilt is a healthy emotion because guilt allows us to grow, allows us to move forward, allows us to repair what has been damaged within ourselves. Not embarrassment, not shame, because embarrassment and shame, they make us smaller, they make us bitter, they make us resentful, they make us angry. That's it. Guilt makes us doing something, thinking, and doing something right. And when we do something right, guilt gets less influential, less intense, and disappears. Well, studying adulthood, I discussed several issues with you. One of the most powerful applications of the study of, say, impulse gratification is addiction. I'll keep this slide for a few seconds, and those of you who have returned, you can always check the definitions right there. And this is a huge subject which I discuss in my other classes, and hopefully will be one of the lectures dedicated to addictions, especially substance addictions. The problem of addictive behavior is associated with childhood as well, but first serious problems with addictions appear during adolescence. And this is what I want to emphasize during this lecture. So it's inability to control on impulses and surrendering to the impulse of immediate gratification of desires, and especially psychoactive drugs, alcohol, cocaine, and opiates and others, plus activities like gambling, for instance, and others, they become associated with our addictive tendencies and destroy the lives of not thousands, not millions, but tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people as we speak. But this is a different subject for different time for us to discuss. Well, I know I touched only the surface, and those of you who study adolescent psychology, you can read the textbook, you can read other materials, and those of you who take my class, there's many posted materials already for you in form of a text. Please study from them. I would like to say in conclusion that adolescence is a period of growth, rapid development, confusion, and also beautiful discoveries that we all find during those magical 5 years of our life. But the next stage of our life begins with 18th, 19th birthday is adulthood. This is a topic for our lecture discussion next time. And don't forget, there is 5 questions which accompany this lecture. You can practice your memory, your comprehension after this, and also join us for our next lecture on psychology of adulthood. Thank you to the dudes for making it happen, and I will see you later. This is Shiraev. See you soon. Bye-bye.